Hulu series shines spotlight on Natalia Grace's 2019 interview with Dr. Phil. The latest episode of Hulu's Good American Family has reignited public interest in a 2019 interview between Dr. Phil McGraw and Natalia Grace, the Ukrainian-born orphan at the center of a controversial adoption case. The series' penultimate episode revisits the case, highlighting the televised exchange that drew national scrutiny and deepened the public's fascination with Natalia's complicated story. In the Dr. Phil episode, Natalia appeared on camera to address accusations by her former adoptive parents, Christine and Michael Barnett, who claimed she was not a child but an adult woman posing as a minor. The Good American Family installment shows a portion of that interview, where McGraw asks Natalia if she was a child or an adult. Why it matters. The case of Natalia Grace captured international attention in 2019 when the Barnetts were charged with neglect after abandoning her in Lafayette, Indiana. They contended that she was an adult pretending to be a child and had manipulated her way into their family. Natalia's case has renewed attention thanks to the 8-episode Hulu series, Good American Family. The series, starring Ellen Pompeo, Imogen Faith Reed, and Mark Duplass, focuses on the Barnetts adopting Natalia, her abandonment, and how she came to live with the man's family. The series aired its first episode on Wednesday, March 19, with a new episode dropping every Wednesday. The Barnetts adopted Natalia in 2010, believing she was a child, but later claimed she was a dangerous adult who misrepresented her age. Their assertions led a judge to change Natalia's birth year from 2003 to 1989, legally making her 22 at the time they left her to live alone in a Lafayette in 2013. During the Dr. Phil interview, Natalia denied the allegations. "It's not true at all," she said, as reported by USA Today, visibly emotional while responding to McGraw's question about whether she had scammed the Barnetts by lying about her age. McGraw himself questioned the logic of the Barnetts' claims, asking, "Are you a 33-year-old scam artist?" After the Barnetts relinquished custody, Natalia needed a new home. She was introduced to Cynthia Mans by one of her neighbors in 2013. Natalia and Cynthia formed a quick bond, and days later, Natalia moved in with the Mans family. Eventually, Natalia left the Mans family following several years of what she and others have described as strict, religiously driven parenting. She now lives with the Depals family, who took her in after she left the Manses. As reported by Today.com, the Depals, described as a supportive household, have helped Natalia rebuild her life following years of instability. Natalia appeared on Dr. Phil after the Barnett's accusations sparked a criminal investigation and legal proceedings. In the episode, she insisted, "I just want people to hear my side." McGraw, speaking directly to Natalia, said, "They say that you scammed them, that you lied about your age and came over here and terrorized them." Natalia's then current guardians, Antoine and Cynthia Mans, also appeared on the program. Cynthia Mans said, "We are supposed to help. Me and my husband adopted these kids. It's like who would do it if you don't," as reported by USA Today. The couple shared that they felt compelled to care for Natalia, who they believed was a vulnerable child mistreated by her previous family. The Dr. Phil episode included discussions about Natalia's medical history and disputed bone scans. Natalia told McGraw, "I don't remember going through a bone scan. I remember going through a bone scan in Michigan." Cynthia Mans added, "And the bone scan in Michigan said she was 14, to which Natalia replied, 'I even have paperwork saying that.'" Was Natalia Grace actually an adult? According to her birth certificate, Natalia Grace was born in 2003, meaning she would have been around 6 or 7 years old when the Barnetts adopted her in 2010. Hospital and dental records supported this estimate, with one dentist determining she was about 8 or 9 years old based on 2011 x-rays. However, in 2012, a judge approved the Barnett's request to change her legal birth year to 1989. In 2023, a blood test confirmed that Natalia was approximately 22 years old, suggesting that she had been 9 when the Barnetts adopted her, according to People. "It just proves that I was not lying about my age," Natalia said on Natalia Speaks. "They ignored everything that was pointing to the truth just so they could create this stupid lie." Did the Barnetts go to jail? Christine and Michael Barnett were charged with neglect but pleaded not guilty. Both were placed under a gag order that prevented them from publicly discussing the case at the time of the Dr. Phil interview. Neither Michael nor Christine Barnett served time in jail. Michael was found not guilty in 2022, and charges against Christine were dropped in 2023. In a deleted Facebook post, Christine Barnett wrote, "If there had been any abuse of Natalia or evidence of it, I would have been found guilty of it, and I would be in jail," People reported. She added, "I believe Natalia takes advantage of that sympathy to manipulate people." What People are saying. In the 2019 Dr. Phil episode, Dr. Phil McGraw said to Natalia Grace, "There's a big debate about how old you are. To me, it doesn't make any difference. You're a human being that needs love and caring and nurturing. It doesn't make a difference to me if you're 43 or 14, but it mattered to the Barnetts." In the 2019 Dr. Phil interview, Natalia Grace said, "I don't want people to see me as what they have been saying I am. I want them to see my personality. I want them to see me, not what people are saying." What happens next? Good American Family continues to explore the implications of public exposure and the long-lasting impact of viral news stories. As viewers await the season finale, the show's inclusion of Natalia's televised statements underscores how a single interview can shape public discourse. In a twist that few saw coming, Hulu's latest true crime docuseries, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. The Interview Files has reignited a media frenzy around the 2019 sit-down between the enigmatic Natalia Grace and talk show titan Dr. Phil. What was once a heavily debated daytime television moment has now been meticulously dissected, reframed, and elevated into a chilling centerpiece of a series that explores questions of trust, identity, and the very nature of truth itself. The series opens in a dimly lit editing bay, where producers revisit footage frame by frame, pausing on every blink, every tear, every seemingly innocent smile Natalia offered to Dr. Phil's probing questions. Audiences are immediately drawn back into the hypnotic pull of that interview, the one that left millions divided between believing Natalia was an innocent, abandoned child or a cunning adult masquerading as a youth. Back in 2019, Natalia had captivated a national audience after news broke that her adoptive parents, Michael and Christine Barnett, alleged she was not a child at all, but rather a fully grown woman with a dark past. They claim she had threatened them, tried to harm their family, and was, in their words, a sociopath in disguise. Natalia's desperate appearance on Dr. Phil was her first attempt to speak for herself. Now, through the Hulu series lens, the interview is revisited with a new gravity. Viewers are shown how Natalia's tiny frame and tearful proclamations of innocence clashed against a backdrop of doubt. The series brings in body language experts, forensic psychologists, and childhood development specialists, each offering their interpretations of Natalia's mannerisms during her conversation with Dr. Phil. "Look at her posture," one expert narrates over a slow-motion clip. "There's a guardedness, a fear that seems genuine. Children who've experienced trauma often present exactly this way." But in the next breath, another analyst offers a counterpoint. Notice the speech patterns. The vocabulary. the calculated way she redirects Dr. Phil's questions. That's not typical of a 10 or 11-year-old. The Hulu team smartly balances these competing narratives, refusing to offer a clean resolution. Instead, the series leans into the grayness of the case, building tension and empathy in equal measure. Archival clips from the original Dr. Phil show are interspersed with new interviews featuring Dr. Phil himself, who admits that Natalia's situation was unlike anything he had encountered in decades of working with troubled families. I had interviewed people who had lived double lives, people who were master manipulators, Dr. Phil says, gazing thoughtfully into the camera. But Natalia, she was something different. She was either the most wronged child I'd ever met or the most convincing adult I'd ever seen. For Natalia's part, the Hulu series gives her more voice than ever before. In newly recorded segments, Natalia, now a young adult, reflects on her experience being thrust into the public eye. She shares how terrifying it was to be treated like a monster by the very people who had promised to love her. There were moments during that interview with Dr. Phil, Natalia says in the series, when I thought, if I don't say the right thing, if I don't look the right way, no one's ever going to believe me. It felt like the world was watching, judging, and no matter what I said, they had already made up their minds.